Terraria has 8 secret seeds that make changes to the vanilla experience. These range from small changes to basically a mod. We're gonna go in order of least to most different, so let's begin with the no trap seed. Relogic is not about to give you some freebie with this seed. No, it's the exact opposite of the name. Dart traps on the surface, traps on floating islands, they're literally everywhere, even in the ocean. And most gold chests in the world are dead man's chests. Those are the ones that blow up when you open them. There's also a couple unique traps in this seed. Bouncy boulders, kind of obvious what that does, and it's terrifying. Life crystal boulders, literally it's just a normal life crystal, but once you mine it, it starts rolling. There's also these TNT barrels in the jungle temple which don't break blocks. Alright, listen, this is actually hilarious. In glowing mushroom biomes, a bunch of enemy spawning statues are set up to trigger from pressure plates. So if you step on one, a bunch of enemies appear. Then they keep walking on the pressure plates themselves and spawn more of each other, making an entire army in about 10 seconds. 7th on the list, we got the Not the Bees seed. Most of the world's blocks are replaced with honey blocks, and you start off with a merchant so that you can obtain a furnace. That's it. That's the seed. Next up, we got the Constant seed. World generation isn't too different. Patches of marble and spider biomes generate on the surface, and there's also wavy caves, which make traveling underground a lot quicker. Where it lacks in world generation, this seed brings mechanics. To start, there's a hunger system. You start off as peckish for 5 minutes, and then you become hungry. At this point, your player stats are lowered. After another 5 minutes of that, you finally begin to starve. You lose 2% of your max health every second. Eating any food starts the process over again. Now, for my favorite part of this seed, you quickly die if you're in complete darkness. And to make things worse, most nights are pitch black, so you must get torches before nightfall as soon as you spawn in. Additionally, there's a shader that makes the world dark and grainy. You can turn it off by changing your lighting settings, or by getting a special item. Watch my Deerclops video to learn more about that. 5th up, we got the Drunk World seed. The starting NPC is now the party girl rather than the guide, and she's unlocked the music option to switch between the original soundtrack and the otherworldly soundtrack, giving us some amazing music. This option's also now unlocked for every world. There's a lot of slight differences to the world generation, but here's my favorites. Living trees generate way more often, and the same with desert pyramids. Floating islands are made out of either snow or sand, and the underground jungle doesn't have an entrance. Instead, you have to dig down to it. Both corruption and crimson generate, and their respective features are simultaneously present in your world. Gold chests have a chance to give Red's potions and Moonlord's legs. So that's where his legs went. Ew, what the f? Marble and granite caves switch generation styles, and also beehives are a lot bigger, so fighting Queen Bee won't be so annoying. The underworld has a big pool of lava in the middle, and the houses are on the side of the world rather than in the center. Also, the dungeon entrance is removed. Instead, you have to go down a dead living tree. Inside, you find a room with the old man, and also you can venture a lot deeper into the dungeon than normal before spawning a guardian. Coming in pretty close at 4th, we got the Celebration Mark 10 seed. First, you spawn on the ocean, which I think should be in every world. Let me know if you agree. The first thing you notice when you spawn in is that the guide, steampunker, princess, party girl, and the town bunny spawn in with you, starting a party immediately. Second is that most of the world is painted, and there's even more living trees than the drunk world. And the items found in chests always have the best modifier possible. A lot of things are rainbow themed, either by being painted or by being rainbow blocks. And the bouncy boulders from earlier make an appearance here too. Truly traumatizing. Near the Aether biome, any water pools are now shimmer pools. Also, there's always a desert pyramid in the world, which leads to the underground desert. Many rare items are much easier to obtain in this seed, either by being sold by the princess or they're far more likely to drop from enemies. There's also the jungle mimic and the golden slime in this seed. Now, I just want to mention how pretty much every block in this world is painted. I think it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but I'm curious what you think of it. Alright, top 3. We got Don't Dig Up. Basically, the entire world is upside down and you spawn in the underworld. However, there's even more changes beyond just that. So you spawn on an ash island in the underworld, and the only enemies that spawn are lava slimes and mimics. The mimics only drop surface and underground loot in pre-hard mode because everything in the seed is balanced according to you spawning in the underworld. As you make your way up the world, first you encounter the glowing mushroom layer, or maybe the underground jungle if it spawns above you. But you want to start in the mushroom layer because here you find stone and early ores. Enemies like zombies and demon eyes populate this layer. Above that is the surface layer, where you can find trees, water, and even weather events. How is it raining when I'm underground? This layer has most of the normal surface biomes, like forest, jungle, desert, snow, and the world's evil. And except for the middle of the world, this layer is technically considered the ocean, even though it isn't actually an ocean. This just means that ocean enemies can spawn here, including the angler. The next layer up is a cavern layer, where you can find typical underground biomes. Okay, sticking to that theme of things being backwards, the underground snow has lava lakes, and the underground desert has water. Nice. Above that you can find the true surface. Finally you can see sunlight. You thought. The sun never rises here, and the world is always night. And to make things worse, the entire true surface is the world's evil, with very high spawn rates. And don't get too high up, because jumping out into space kills you instantly. The jungle temple is also on the surface, kind of like a fortress standing strong in this desolate wasteland. I don't know, I just really like this seed. I love how everything is dead and corrupted on the surface. It really brings back that adventurous side of Terraria that I've always loved. Second place goes to For the Worthy. Firstly, the difficulty is automatically one level higher in this seed. So if you start the world in expert mode, it's now master mode. And let's say you start in master mode, you've now unlocked legendary mode. This is the hardest mode in the game. When you spawn in the world, the first thing you notice is that you begin with the demolitionist instead of the guide. Pretty soon you learn some other things. Shaking trees and breaking pots can spawn bombs. There's explosive bunnies, and most demons are voodoo demons. When boulders break, they split into more boulders and shoot in random directions. Even more traumatizing. Now for the world generation changes. Most water pools are now lava pools instead. Ores generate more often with larger vein sizes, and blocks are twice as fast to mine. Spider biomes, glowing mushroom biomes, marble and granite caves are all much more common too. Floating islands are infected with evil, and the chests are locked, and the surface might generate as a jungle biome instead of the forest. It's also possible for no surface jungle to generate at all. Most bosses are either larger or smaller than normal, and deal a lot more damage. Additionally, with the exception of Duke Fishrod, Deerclops, and Moonlord, all bosses have AI changes to give you a new, terrible experience. Have fun with this one. And just saying, you gotta go all in. Don't play normal mode for the worthy. You gotta go straight to legendary mode. Thank me later. Finally, in last place, we have the Get Fixed Boy seed. This is a combination of all previous 7 seeds. Just look at the map of this world. I don't even know where to start. But let's go to the very beginning, World Gen. There's a minigame where you can bounce fallen stars off your cursor to change how the world generates. Each hit makes more of the following generate: life crystals, statues, chests, gemstone caves, pots, and traps. Once you get into the world, pretty much every aspect of the previous 7 seeds are blended together. There are still a few new things in this seed, like Mechdusa, which is all 3 mechanical bosses blended together. Horrifying. When you first spawn in, a party starts with the NPCs, but when the party ends, everybody dies. Bro, they all just died, what the f? The worst change is that Hellbats and Lava Bats drop lava when they die. And finally, the Moonlord spews out buffed bouncy boulders after its laser beam attack, which is extremely traumatic. Okay, something important to mention is that I didn't go over every single detail of all of the seeds. I left out some of the boring parts, and there's also some interesting fun stuff that I left out, so if you play the seeds yourself, you'll be able to find that on your own. And also, I just want to say, it took me about 2 weeks to make this video, like a long time. Maybe like 3 hours on the script, and then it took a long time to make the video. So if you have friends who really enjoy Terraria, I would really appreciate it if you shared it with them. Thank you.